Sargeras is the last Titan, the only one in his original form, as the rest of the pantheon was destroyed. However, why he decided to embark on the Burning Crusade is something I think we were lied about. Recent Silithus info told us that the Titans are really not that different than him, they just use different methods. Furthermore, Illidan is like a mini Sargeras himself, trying to fulfill some perfect vision, disregarding the process, and once the Titans come to Azeroth, there is no way these two are being left behind. Sargeras is very likely reverting back to his old form and coming in to finish the job. Everyone has been talking about how the last Titan is obviously Azeroth. I mean, who else could it be? She's an Ascent Titan World Soul, but literally there is barely any evidence for that. Keep in mind, all the information about Azeroth being a Titan is strictly from Titan sources, aka the Chronicle, and also Titan stories that they told their servants and that we learned about it subsequently. So I would 100% expect a Faceless One or any Black Empire servant to believe that Azeroth is in fact an Ascent Voidlord. However, so much recent information actually completely contradicted this, and Azeroth could be anything from just a planet energy to an imprisoned ancient being, maybe even a first one. When it comes to the last Titan though, I think the most realistic assumption to make at this point in time is that it could be Sargeras. He really is the last Titan when you really think about it. Keep in mind, the entire Titan pantheon was actually defeated in the ancient history. They are alive, they exist, but it's like this weird avatar thing, they just kinda are there. While Sargeras is actually a Titan in the original form, just corrupted by Fel, and I think that Fel corruption may completely dissipate through his years of imprisonment, and we are going to see the original Sargeras. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm not talking here that Sargeras is a good guy, the Titans are evil, he just wanted to save us from the real bad guys. No, he's definitely a bad guy. We have personally seen him do terrible things. I mean, this guy was blowing up planets and destroying civilizations, but the point I'm trying to make here is that there is a huge chunk in the origin story of Azeroth and Titan arrival and the entire Titan Pantheon storyline that we're missing that adds critical context to what is really going on. We actually have quite a bit of recent documents, some as recent as 2 months back, so let's take a look at what is really going on behind the scenes. As Sargeras was blowing up planets, you can blow up ships in the team-based sea battle game World of Warships, and best of all, you can use my link in the description to get an exclusive starter pack. With over 500 historical ships across 11 different nations, you can control them in beautiful maps with changing weather, as well as obviously customize them. You got 4 different ship classes: destroyers, cruisers, battleships, aircraft carriers, with each offering a different gameplay experience. Coolest thing though is the ships are designed on actual historical blueprints from the first half of the 20th century. So it's never been a better time to start. Use the code WARSHIPS and all new players will get 500 doubloons, 7 days premium, 2 million credits, a tier 4 ship, and 6 skill points commander. Check out World of Warships with my link in the description below. So the Titans have definitely been set up as the bad guys and are being painted more evil with each passing day. We got the entire book that gave us history on the dragons and how they corrupted them, and most importantly, we got some recent hints from the Twilight Hermit that were added to the game just a month ago. When you come with the Titan transmog weapons, he says that Sargeras wanted to eradicate existence in order to impose his perfect vision, and that the Titans share this exact same vision, they just use different methods. And this isn't actually a retcon. I mean, sure, they're definitely shifting the Titan narrative, but the Titans have never really been the good guys. They have never actually been on our side. Pretty much all the time we were on the same team, but that is mainly due to sharing similar goals. Old gods are not good for life, and the Titans don't like them, so they defeated them, but they didn't do it in order to save us, but they did it for their own vision. We have seen their cold logic when they implemented a giant planet exploding mechanism on Azeroth that we ran into on Ulduar that would eradicate all life in a split second just so that the void doesn't gain a foothold. That just goes to show you that we are there as convenient assets, and that is exactly what the Rethinking is talking about, and as he said, soon we will see that in person when they arrive in the last Titan. However, that is not the topic. Obviously they're not nice. What I do want to state is that I think a huge chunk of history is missing on what they're actually doing, on what this grand mission of the Titans really is. The story by this point is that they're just benevolent figures, seeding life, organizing planets, awakening their own as their voyage through the cosmos, and I think that just couldn't be further from the truth. Previous Shadowlands documents told us that the Titans are something akin to imposters. The true creators of the universe are the first ones. They have these zealots for all the forces like behind the scenes. We have been in one. We saw that the Dead Pantheon was created there by the first ones. Super long story short, but the recent lore we got stated that 6 cosmological forces were in something that appears to be like a free-for-all, all-out war, that the first ones then came in and then created this order mechanism that seems to be based around Azeroth, as all the cosmological charts have Azeroth in the middle. This seems to be a really complex mechanism that is holding everything from falling apart so that not a single force can get too powerful. So life goes to death in a cycle, disorder destroys, order orders, but it's like this cycle where things get dirty, you clean it up, and it's just like a constant loop. However, each of the forces, as they're predatory by nature, is trying to break this cycle as they realize how stupid this is and that it's just one big hamster wheel rolling for all eternity. So Sargeras switched to disorder, tried to do it, Jailer tried to do it recently, the Void Lords are on this mission non-stop. Now, this here is where Azeroth comes in. You've heard this by now 100%, so I'll keep the info to a minimum, but there is an ongoing theory that Azeroth is a giant Titan prison. I mean, it's obvious the last Titan logo is the exact same thing as the Titan created prison for the Primal Incarnates, the rings and everything. So my thoughts are that this is the center of the World Soul Saga. Azeroth seems to be holding this enforced mechanism and everyone is trying to break it free. I've previously stated the Jailer, Sargeras and all, but others have tried to do it as well. I mean, we just get a document of Illidan, the Life Titan, so from the Life Force, trying to plant a World Tree into Azeroth through deception. The light seems to invade all over the universe as well. It really seems like everyone is trying to break this mechanism. So why exactly would the Titans not attempt to do the exact same thing? I mean, everyone is trying to take it for themselves, but they just want to help and seed life. Now, Azeroth may not be an Acid Titan, but if the Titan's plan succeeds, that is exactly what she will become. They're trying to convert it just like all the other forces so that their vision becomes the ultimate one. That is exactly what the Twilight Hermit said. Same vision, different methods. Sargeras planned to destroy everything as he shifted to this order, and the Titans are trying to order everything to perfection. However, where exactly does Sargeras come in this story? I think the answer lies here in this origin, and that almost everything we really know about Sargeras, apart from what we had seen, comes from Titan sources, therefore all of it could be a lie. The lore states that Sargeras already started going crazy due to the Void before Azeroth was even ordered, and that the Titans tried to convince him that Azeroth could be a useful weapon against the Void Lords, and that he should just abandon his crusade like we could use Azeroth to stop doing this stupid thing. I don't think the goal here was to awaken the ultimate Titan that is Azeroth, but to turn the mechanism in their favor. As you may remember, the recent documents from Shadowlands confirmed that the Dreadlords had their hands in this corruption and they just kinda fueled this fire. As they said, show the Titans the opposite force, they will be consumed by the urge to eradicate it, and that will fracture the Pantheon. However, as I said, most of this info, apart from the Dreadlord stuff, is from Titan sources, and I think this here is just incredibly subject to change, like it is way too one-sided. Was Sargeras really crazy, or did he not believe in the Titan plan? Did he think the Titan plan was ultimately foolish? It is impossible to predict. I mean, was his crusade really all that different from what the Titans were already actually doing? Keep in mind, he was shattering void corrupted planets with a sword, later with a demon army, and the Titans were actually already doing the exact same thing, just more sophisticated, so employing destruction mechanisms when they were corrupted, and also sending their own Titan Forged army, so like a mini Burning Legion. My prediction is that there was a big disagreement in the Order strategy, and that Sargeras was at the time a regular Titan, but he had to resort to Fel because the rest of the Titans were against him, and then ultimately he really did go crazy, and that is how we got the Fel giant crazy demon guy. I mean, just remember from the lore how corrupting Fel actually is. I mean, as a warlock, if you get too greedy with power, you lose your mind completely. Like a giant portion of demon hunters died and lost their mind in the creation ritual where they consumed a tiny demon. And keep in mind, Sargeras absorbed like a planet full of Fel. So did he really go crazy? I don't think there is actually any denying that. I'm not here denying that the Burning Crusade actually happened. However, I think there is a lot that is missing prior to why he actually decided to take the Fel. So here is how I see Sargeras actually returning the last Titan and why he is actually the last Titan. Titans, as you may know, can reverse corruption. I mean, that is how they created a hellscape of the Black Empire into today's Azeroth. And seeing that Sargeras was in a Titan prison, I think the Fel is going to dissipate and that he's going to get some of his sanity back, and that he's going to just look completely different, similar to his original form. Now, the key actor here is obviously going to be Illidan, and I think this entire storyline is not going to be happening without this duo being involved. I can't be the only one to see a very obvious parallel parallel here between Illidan and Sargeras. Illidan was a do whatever it takes guy for the greater good, and he himself took on Fel in order to save Azeroth, in his mind the universe, and then he was jailed, no one believed him, everyone called him a betrayer for 10,000 years, and you can imagine that left quite a mark, and most importantly, he also had a personal jailer, Maiev. Well, look at Sargeras. It is the exact same way, just on a universe-wide scale. I mean, Sargeras realized that the Titan plan would not suffice, they needed more radical measures. For this, he was called a betrayer by his own, painted as the devil, and he took on the Fel in order to save the universe, at least in his eyes, and now he has a personal jailer as well, that is Illidan. I mean, it is ridiculous how similar these two guys are. I don't think there is anyone else in the universe that could relate more than these two guys. I feel like Illidan might take all this information from Sargeras, realize that his lifelong dedication to destroying the Legion was actually futile, and that there are much bigger things coming to Azeroth than Sargeras and the Legion, and that he was but a single player in the grand scheme of things on what is really going on. How this duo could evolve, it is super hard to say. I don't think Sargeras is going to become a good guy. However, keep in mind, when the Pantheon arrives to Azeroth, they won't be there to power his prison, and also there is no reason Illidan is going to continue working with the Titans when they're attacking Azeroth. Because of this, I think Sargeras might actually break free. I definitely think he will get his Titan form back, but like a scarred version, and he may be trying to stop the Titans, or even more interestingly, he might even join them. Remember, previously he didn't believe Azeroth could turn the tide of this universe-wide war, but now he might be convinced, and I could definitely see Sargeras coming together with the Pantheon in order to fight us. How this could be related to the sword, it is really hard to say. The recent hints told us that he chose Silithus on purpose, and that his final act was in service of the goal, and that is to eradicate all life from existence. The Hermit said the Void Whisperer stopped when this happened, so he may have tried to maybe get rid of Khatoon or to delay the Void plans, as he knew Xal'atath was coming. It is also possible that he might have left the sword so he could return once again to get it himself personally, as he predicted this scenario. Personally, I don't think they're going to redeem Sargeras and that he was just led astray all along. He was a good guy. I think he is going to be the bad guy and the last Titan that we will actually be fighting. Keep in mind, Sargeras is the ultimate villain of the Warcraft universe, and we never actually fought him, we just observed him being imprisoned. Actually fighting him in Northrend in the ultimate battle would definitely be a really interesting scenario. Thank you for watching. Check out what the name of Northrend will be like by clicking on the screen, and check out my video on ancient Greek colonies in Spain by clicking on the screen as well. See you next time.